In this video, we're going to look at how to select a database in a specific subject and locate an article. We're going to start on the PACE Library homepage at Library.Pace.edu and head over to the Databases tab. Remember that the quick search box will bring back results from multiple databases and include results on a variety of topics. By searching in a database that is specific to a subject that we're researching, we can limit our results to more relevant information on our topic area. On the Databases tab, we have two choices. To select databases by letter, which is useful if we know the name of the one we need, or see a list of all databases. But if you don't have one in mind and would like to see a list in your subject area, select the By Subject dropdown and look for your area of interest. If I'm writing a paper for a history course, I could scroll down to History, but there could also be other subject areas listed as well, such as African and African American studies, or even women and gender studies, depending on my topic. I'm going to select History and click Go. A new window will pop up with a selection of databases that contain history content. If we look at the top, we can see that PACE has a total of 261 databases, but we are looking at the 29 which contain the most history content. One way to select which to start is to read the descriptions. Academic Search Ultimate says that it includes journals, magazines, and newspapers in almost every subject area. That's great, but I'd like to see content really targeted to history so I don't also get marketing and business information. We can see that the next two are more valuable. The American Memory Project looks like it has mostly primary sources, and I'm looking for scholarly articles. The one above it, America, History, and Life, looks like it has a relevant description. Find articles on the history and culture of North America, including the US and Canada. So let's search here.
Each database may have a different search box, and the filters may look different, but most are very similar in what they offer, so don't be intimidated. This database has 3 search boxes and Boolean operator dropdowns to help us craft a very specific search. So let's type in right to vote in the first box and women in the second box because I'm interested in that effort in American history. And notice that they're connected by the and Boolean operator, which just means that both of these concepts and terms must exist in a search result in order for it to be brought back to us. So let's click search on the right. And once we have our results, the first thing we should do is determine if the articles we're getting are relevant. So we can look at the titles, we can look at the descriptions, and we can look at the subjects, which are under the description, just to see if they're answering my questions that I'm looking to answer. So the first thing I notice about this article is that it's outside the United States, and I want to focus on US history. If I scroll down, I'm also seeing a lot of articles about women's rights, but not necessarily about the time period that I'm interested in, and a little targeted on not well-known figures from that period. I do see a couple of times this term for suffrage, so I think that's a more specific word that I should be using for a keyword. So let's go back and change my search. I'm going to click on Advanced Search on the right in this database. So I'm going to change this to women's suffrage, and I can use the suggested terms from the database and do women's suffrage movement. And then I'm going to change this to United States, and I'm actually going to use this field dropdown on the right side so that United States appears in the subject area. And that means that the article will specifically be tagged, almost like a Twitter tag, about the United States. So I'm going to search again with my updated terms. And looking at these search results, they do seem to be much more on target for the topic and the time period that I'm interested in researching, and a little bit more about the broader movement and not about specific people or places, which might be a little too targeted for what I was trying to search for. And I can also use these filters up at the top to refine my results even further. I can click on all filters and it opens up the panel on the right side. So we can limit to peer-reviewed articles if I need that for my assignment. We can also click on linked full text, and I can also limit by publication date. In this case, I'm looking for historical information, so it's not that I need to find the most recent information. But if I had a medical topic or a business topic, I might want to see the past 5 years of the most recent information. We can also limit by source type, which can be helpful because different sources contain different types of information. So I might want to focus on academic journals. For a different topic, I might want to look at magazines, or in this case, newspapers aren't showing up, but maybe newspapers and magazines. So it depends on the type of information that you're looking for. Or we can limit by subject to get really narrow to a particular part of a topic, or by language if you happen to be seeing a lot of articles in a language that you don't speak. So by checking off any of the boxes and clicking apply, it will update that to my search results. So right now I have linked full text selected, so every article here I should be able to get the online full text for. If I uncheck that box, then it's going to bring in articles that may not be full text in this America History and Life database, but we might have it Pace. So I may see this search for item button. If I click on that, you may get a window that says that this has to be requested using interlibrary loan. In that case, you would click this button, put in a request form, and you would receive a PDF of that article in your email box within about 24 to 48 hours. Or you can just skip that article and go back to the search results and pick another one. Sometimes it will link you out to another database. If I click search for item on that one, the full text finder tells us that this one we do have in a Sage database. So clicking on that link brought me directly to a PDF from one of the Sage databases that Pace subscribes to. And then I can print it or download it on the right side. And if I have any questions as I'm searching, I can go back to the library homepage and click on the Ask a Librarian button to contact a staff member.